All right, this demonstration is for drawing and painting 1. We're going to go over what's called color theory, how to mix and blend colors, and how colors interact with each other and change each other. So I've got a number of terms you have to know. This is something that you can't kind of know. You have to know it all the way. It's sort of like the alphabet. You can't like say, well, I know the letters up to M, and after that I'm a little shaky. No, you got to know them all, okay? So first thing you're going to do is this. I got a piece of paper like this, and you're going to take your pastels, and we're just going to draw a kind of a Star of David, an equilateral triangle, and another equilateral triangle over the top of that. Now, on each one of those corners of the equilateral triangle, I'm going to put a circle about the size of a quarter. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Now, I'm going to take these first 3 on this triangle right here. So the 3 corners of one of these triangles are going to be your primary colors. Now, you should know what primary colors are. They are red, blue, and yellow. Those are your 3 primary colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pastel and I'm going to fill in those colors. Let me show you how to do that. Now, when you use pastels, you're not going to use them like you would a normal pencil. You're not going to hold the tip like this and then use the point. You're going to hold it like this, like if this is your paper, and you're going to hold it up a little bit and you're going to use it like this. So I'm using it like this. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what corner you put on, but for right now I'm going to put red here. Now don't fill the paper in completely. Leave a little bit of the pores of the paper, and I'll tell you why that is later. So I'm going to put blue here, sort of a royal blue, and then sort of a lemon yellow. Okay, so there we go. So there's my my 3 colors. Now, when you mix red and when you mix red and yellow, what do you get? You get orange. Okay. So your secondary colors are your second group of colors, okay? So when you mix yellow and blue, what do you get? You get green, okay? And when you mix red and blue, what do you get? Most people say purple. The proper name is violet. So I'm going to put violet down here, and we're going to refer to it as violet, even though purple's pretty darn close, okay? Now, we're going to put 6 more colors here. So in between here are 6 more circles, okay? So first we have our primary colors, which are red, blue, and yellow. Secondary, we have our secondary colors, which are orange, green, and violet, okay? And now we're going to go with our intermediate colors. Now our intermediate colors, there's 3 primary, 3 secondary, and there's 6 intermediate colors. And how we're going to do it is this. The intermediate color is the color you get when you mix these 2 colors together. Now, whenever you're mixing colors, you always want to start with the lighter color first, because the darker color is always going to dominate the lighter color. So I'm going to start by putting some orange down. Now, when I do this, I'm not filling it in real heavy like this. Okay, I'm kind of leaving a little bit of the paper. Now, I'm going to take some red and put the red over the top. And I'm going to put just enough and take my finger and blend it until I get a color that looks like it's right in between those, okay? So that color looks pretty much, it's not too red and it's not too orange, it's right between. If it needs a little more red, just put a little more red on there. And that color's name would be red-orange. Real simple, it's the primary name first. So we go to this next color, this is gonna be yellow-orange, primary name first. Since yellow is lighter, I'm gonna start with yellow, and I'm gonna add just a little bit of orange to it. I'll take my finger and blend that together until I get a color that looks like it's right in between those. It's not this orange and it's not that yellow, it's right in between. And if it's not quite, mine looks like it maybe could use a little more yellow, I'll put a little more yellow on there, okay? So this is what you're gonna do for all of your colors. You're going to fill out all the colors in what we call as a color wheel, okay? So here's one that I already did, and I got all the colors filled. Now, our next set of colors. So we got your intermediate colors. Another name for intermediate is tertiary. It means the exact same thing, okay? So the 6 tertiary combinations are red-orange, red-violet, blue-violet, blue-green, okay, yellow-green, and yellow-orange. Those are the 6 names of the colors. I obviously abbreviate them. Now, complements. What's a complement? A complement is this. The color that's directly across the color wheel. They call this a wheel because it's round in shape, okay? And what's directly across from orange is blue. So blue is the complement of orange. Orange is the complement of blue. So I ask the question, what's the complement of red? Opposite of red is green. What's the complement of green? It's red. Okay, what's the complement of yellow? Violet. What's the complement of violet? Yellow. So our next complements means opposites. Opposites on the color wheel, okay? So your complementary pairs, there's 3 pairs of complementary colors. There's red-green, okay? There is violet and yellow. And the last combination is orange and blue. Okay? So that's what we have so far. Now, what happens when you mix complementary colors? So for example, if I take, I'll just do that in the middle here. Let's say that I want to mix orange and blue. I'm going to put a circle kind of arching. I'm going to put a circle kind of in this area. And I'm going to put the orange down first because the orange is the lighter color. Okay? And I'm going to mix a little bit of blue with it. Now, how much do I mix? You got to mix it so that it doesn't look blue and it doesn't look orange. If it looks too orange, add more blue. If it looks too blue, add more orange. So what color do I get? What color is that? It's a brown. So your browns come from mixing opposites. So if you look previously here, when I mixed orange and blue, I got this color brown. When I mixed red and green, I got this color brown. And when I mix violet and, I mix violet and yellow, it's more of a gray. So it's not a brown, it's a gray. So I get brown, brown, and a gray. Gray is from violet and yellow. So answer the question, what do you get when you mix complementary pairs? Okay, you get browns and you get a gray. Now a tint is a lighter version of a color, okay? So for example, light blue is a tint. It's not blue, it's a lighter version of blue. So how do you get light blue? How do you mix that? Well, that's when you add white. So typically, any color that you add white to, so if I take white, for example, and I add a little blue to that and blend those together, I'm gonna get a light blue. Okay? So light blue is made by adding white and blue. Now keep in mind, once again, anytime you're making a tint, start with white and add the darker color to it. Because if you start with the dark color, you'll have to have tons of white to make a difference. So tint is when you add white. Now another substitute for white would be possibly like a beige or a cream, a color like that. That would work to make a color lighter or make it a tint. What you wouldn't want to do is add yellow. Because for example, if I want to make red lighter, don't add yellow to it because you'll make it orange. If you want to make blue lighter, don't add yellow to it because you'll make it green. Okay? Shades. Shade is the opposite of a tint. A shade is a darker version of a color. So tints are lighter, okay, like light blue, pink, those are tints, okay? So lighter and shades are darker. Now you're gonna say, what do I add to make it darker? Well, the obvious answer would be black, but black can destroy a color if it's a warm color. So for example, if I want to make yellow darker, don't add black to it. Black will ruin it. It'll look like an ugly gray. Instead, to substitute for black, when I'm using warm colors, so warm colors would be red, orange, and yellow, you can add brown to it. Okay? You can also add a little bit of its opposite or complement. So if I want to make yellow darker, I could add a little bit of violet with it. So if I go here and I want to make yellow darker, I could add a little violet. If I want to make orange darker, add a little blue. Now, this is a little confusing. Green, if it's a bright green, that green is lighter than red. It's not going to make red darker, okay? But if I added like a dark brown to red, now dark brown would be like a chocolate brown, a black and a brown mixed to red, I could make it darker, okay? Red's a borderline color. If your color's like burgundy, something darker like this, black would work to make it darker. But if your color's more of a red-orange, don't add black to it, okay? Same thing with green. If your green's more of a lime green, don't add black to it. You could add brown to it. But if your green is more of a dark forest green, you can add black to it to make it darker.